Thank you for turning to page 121. Well, I always like making these videos, but today I especially like making the video. This is one of my absolute favorite Doctor Doom FF encounters of all time. It's a four-parter, issues 84 through 87. I'm going to take a look at this, why it's such a special run to me, why I enjoy it so much, and I'm going to go over the story. I'm going to give warning now. There will be spoilers. If you want to read these and haven't, read them over the last 50 plus years and you want an opportunity to do so, turn the video off now. I am going to go through this and I am going to give up spoilers. So you've been warned. So today on page 121, FFs 84 through 87, Doctor Doom versus the FF. Okay, FF 84 through 87. I'll say it one more time. There are going to be spoilers in here. If you don't want to hear them, I recommend you tune out now. So issue 84 begins. The name is Doom. As you can see, this one's much loved. Literally read the cover off of it. The FF are coming back from the Great Refuge, having just had an adventure there for a couple of issues. This was published in the March 69 issue, so this would have been late 68. This Doom story has a very prisoner feel to it, the Patrick McGoohan short-lived BBC series. I'll get into that in a little bit. So here we go. The FF is heading back, and oh my gosh, look at that. There's some shield jets. This is the first time I read Nick Fury in a comic book. I had started comics around FF 128, which is 1972, but I was able to get my hands on most of this story very quickly as a kid because I had older brothers and they had friends. So I had most of this story right from the get-go, and I didn't know who Nick Fury and Dum Dum Dugan were, but I learned. So here we go. We have an older guy escaping, trying to get out and escape Latveria, and no one escapes Doctor Doom, and he blasts the guy and takes him back to Latveria. There's some ambiguity in this one as to whether the purple dudes here are really robots through the story, or if they're guys. Sometimes they're written as robots, sometimes they're written as guys in weird costumes. It's kind of fun. Sometimes Lee wasn't able to pay all the attention he could to a story arc. So the FF are enlisted by S.H.I.E.L.D. to investigate a secret army, of which they've gotten one piece. And it's an arm, and the arm itself flies around, grabs a gun, and starts blasting away at the FF. So the Torch does what anyone would do. He blasts it and destroys it. The FF says, okay, S.H.I.E.L.D., we'll take on the mission. We'll go into Latveria. So for whatever reason, they decide the best way to go into Latveria is just to drive a car across the border and get captured immediately. I question the tactics of that one, but hey, what the heck? And so they cross it, and the car is destroyed by some kind of magnetic device in the roadway, and the FF go into battle. One of my absolute favorite pictures by Jack Kirby. And then I love the Kirby crackle. I love the way that he gave such life and motion to the action. I love, the thing going through the flames. I really felt he brought a lot to it. That's just outstanding. I love the motion that Kirby was able to bring. And here we have Doctor Doom, wearing a gas mask over his face mask, which I always thought was really cool. And the FF, instead of waking up in some kind of dungeon, wake up in a 4-star hotel. And they're having breakfast in bed and everything, and they're saying, whoa, this can't be good. So Doom's saying, I've drained their powers, and now they're helpless, and they'll live out the rest of their days as my subjects. Nothing about the secret army here, although Reed does talk about it. Reed, at the very end, wants to prove nobody's really free, so he makes a dash for the border and gets decked by one of Doom's stun blasts. So that's the end of the first issue, which is just a lot of fun. I love the old Marvel checklist. And then we meet the army of Doom in the next issue. This issue I absolutely love. This one blew my mind as a kid. So this one is within this tortured land, and the FF are trying to figure out what they're going to do, and the thing says, the heck with that, and grabs the guy. And again, this is where I'm not really sure if they're guys or if they're robots, because some of the way they talk, they're guys. And the thing gets decked by a mere stun blast. So, oh my gosh, his powers are missing. So they decide to wander off and try to get an idea of what to do, and they go get some lunch, and there is one of the definitive pictures of Doctor Doom. I just love that setup. And Doom comes down, and we meet Hauptmann. Hauptmann is a follower of Doom's, someone he has liberated, if you will. He is taken from the Red Skull. And Hauptmann says, oh, yeah, Doom, you're really good. Your genius rivals that of the Red Skull. Doom doesn't like that. So he has him by the throat and says, rivals it? Really? But Hauptmann gives up, and Doom lets him live. So now we get Doom setting up a little display for his new robot army. A couple of guys who need to be pounded around a little bit. And now they're going to grab Doom. Oh my gosh, no. They're manhandling Dr. Doom. And they're going to get away. They've stolen his gun. One of the few times we see Doom's gun leave the holster. And Doom says, come on, I could take him any time. I wanted them to escape. They go to a very Kirby-esque tank. I love that tank. And they fire a half-ton missile shell, which is just awesome, and blast the robot right in the mush, and no effect. The robot goes ahead and destroys the tank, and because it's comic code still, ties the guys up waiting for the guards, and the tank blows up, and Doom proves that his robot is indestructible. He's made a dozen of them, the Deadly Dozen, if you will, another movie that was out not terribly long before this, and they are going to destroy the village, one of the villages in Latveria. The very village the FF are in right now. Oh my gosh. But as the FF are having their meal, they get drugged and knocked unconscious so they can be put under a hypno machine and be hypnotically entranced and not be able to use their powers. We cut away to Sue looking for a house now that Reed and Sue have had Franklin, although Franklin's not named yet. And they come to this strange underground house. And this is a teaser for a couple issues down the line. Now we come back to the FF waking up from their treatment, and everything's fine, but they're scared to death of the idea of violence. Anyway, we have Dr. Doom getting his royal painting done without his mask on, but we still don't see his face. That's okay. And then Doom says, well, okay, I'm done posing, and uh-oh, my robots are breaking free. Ha! They're going to destroy the village, and the FFs say, oh my gosh, they're going to launch their attack, and we have no powers, and we'll be victims all. And that's the out on the second issue. I love this. There's that picture again. I love this run of Dr. Doom. That was a great issue of Cap. One of Kirby's, I think Kirby's last one. Until the mid-70s. This is the issue I didn't have as a kid. Issue 86, where they actually fight the robot army, which was a little frustrating. But I had 84, 85, and 87. 86 is, oh, the FF, they're the victims. Oh my goodness. What a revolting development. I want to go on to say one thing. I said that there's a reason why I particularly love these issues. In my opinion, Stan Lee, Jack Kirby were at their best together right around this time. They'd been doing it really well for a year and a half or so, but I really feel they were reaching the peak in these issues and in some of the Thors with Ego the Living Planet and Galactus. I just felt it was good. Unlike a lot of people online, I love Joe Sinnott on Jack Kirby. I always have. My opinion. If you don't like Joe Sinnott, that's up to you. I do. So here we go. These guys are in a Kirby-sized car, some kind of little go-kart. I just love that. And oh my gosh, what are we going to do? The robots are on their way. And Doom says, it's a shame. My robots are broken free, and you'll all be declared heroes of the realm if you get killed. I mean, when you get killed. So just prepare for oblivion. And then Doom, another great splash page. Doom admits, it's the truth. I can't control these robots. I made them so savage. And here we have another example where these guys in these pink and purple outfits may or may not be androids. This guy gets punched for, addressing Doom without leave. I don't know that he'd bother doing that to a robot. But anyway, we continue on through the nifty late 60s ad. And the robots, they have broken free and they're attacking the village. The FF feel their powers are coming back a little bit, but it's still going to be a heck of a challenge. The Fantastic Four are going to have to fight no matter what. So there we have the Thing. Apparently he's gotten some of his strength back. He just decked one of the robots, but then he remembers, oh my gosh, the parts attack even when it's been smashed apart. Ben's getting his rear end kicked a little bit. His shin at least, and then the Human Torch comes in. He's able to dust up the pieces when his powers start to come back. Reed's saying, don't use your powers, conserve them as much as you can until they're back fully. We get a couple of great Kirby action pictures. We get Doom up, apparently having a balcony dinner, watching all this. Hauptmann again is saying, hey, the FF aren't pushovers. You know, you might not be as smart as you think you are. He kind of pushes Doom's buttons throughout this entire run. Pretty important to what's coming up next issue. Here we go with the FF again. The androids or the robots have gotten there, and they've captured Reed, who can stretch now. But Reed finds a device that dumps them into a stasis pit, and or a neutralization pit, and then another fires a stasis pit, taking care of the robot that was attacking Ben. So now we're getting things going. And Hauptmann says, see, they're winning. And Doom, for whatever reason, bothers explaining to the lackey that even if they win, they lose, I'm just going to blow the village up. Okay, Doom plays hardball. Okay, here come the rest of the androids. Reed's got a device. Reed almost always had some kind of scientific device that because science did things. And here we go. And Reed's device activates a turbulence pressure engine that hurls them into the air, and they sink to the bottom of the lake, and they're too heavy to move once they're in the water. And Doom says, oh no, they defeated my androids, and blows up the village. And turns out the people are fine. The village people are fine. Sue Richards, unbeknownst to everybody, has arrived on the scene and saves everyone with her force field at the very end. As I said, I didn't have this as a kid. I kind of wondered what happened, but I love these issues. Okay, and now we go to possibly the most offbeat ending of the year. And it is, and this is one of the things that made me really love these issues. So here we go. The Power and the Pride, the Fantastic Four plus one, the Fantastic Five. So just had Franklin and Crystal was filling in for us since issue 81. So this is the first time all five will go into battle together. And the thing starts off by throwing a steeple at Doom's castle. And again, the android's worrying that he doesn't dare alert Doom because Doom would have their lives. So I'm going to say, yeah, they're guys. So the artist and Hauptmann are together, and the artist says, hey, let's get out of here while things are in confusion. And Hauptmann says, no, I will report you for your treason because I am a good servant. I serve the Red Skull well. I serve Dr. Doom, and I'm going to tell. So there's another great Doom splash page. And Doom says, don't worry, I'm going to let them in here. They're going to see all this art and beauty, and I'm going to treat them with a piano that's rigged with hypersound. Hypersound, what's that? Well, we never really get an explanation of what hypersound is. We'll see what it does in a few pages. Again, Lee and Kirby at their best, in my opinion. So Doom somehow has the bridge trapped that it just gets Crystal and Sue, and they fall down a shaft, and the other three members are trying to go save them. They get hurled up on top of the parapet of Doom's castle, so they say, okay, we'll just attack from here. We get some great action sequences. Love the Kirby crackle. Reed unlocks the door, but they still can't touch it, so Ben literally blows it off its hinges with a super breath. And now it's clobbering time. Crystal and Sue, for their part, land inside the castle in a padded room, and they get out on them almost immediately and start making their way through the guards. And they run down a corridor, and they open a doorway, and what do we see? Doom with a fully laid out meal waiting for them. Does this seem familiar? Anybody ever seen Empire Strikes Back? I always suspected Lucas lifted Doom for Darth Vader, and this is absolutely lifted in Empire Strikes Back when Han and Leia burst into the room, and there's Vader waiting with a meal. So that's my little editorial there, but yes, that's where that came from. And then we have a little teaser for the next few issues. And then we come back to the battle where Reed and Ben are fighting, and they go crashing on in. And for his part, Doom is a nice host. He's entertaining everybody. He's going to play the piano, something he himself has written, and it's going to be hypersound, and that will kill the FF. And now we come to a little encounter here where Hauptmann is saying, hey, wait a minute, Mr. Artist guy who wanted to leave in the last issue. I know you're a spy from Agent Fury, or from S.H.I.E.L.D. You're an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., and you're here to spy on the Master. I am going to kill you with the flamethrower in an art gallery. Art, what do I care for art? Hauptmann says. Think how I will be rewarded by Dr. Doom. Doom says, no, you don't fire a flamethrower in an art gallery. The fool, the abysmal, arrogant fool. He's ruined my flawless plan. I love Doom. And the art can't be replaced. What are a few vulnerable lives to the priceless art that could be replaced? So the hypersound keyboard can only have one target, and that's Hauptmann. And Hauptmann gets killed. Doom kills him with hypersound, which is, some kind of deadly sound. And Hauptmann is dead. And Doom says, you know what? I'm done. I've had enough of this. Ladies, you're free to go. FF, you're free to leave. Leave my kingdom at once. I'm done with you. Definite offbeat ending. One I still love to this day. I just thought it was really good ending. We don't see Doom again until issue 116, when he helps the FF fight the Overmind. We don't see Doom as a villain again until about issue 143, with a big plan against the FF. So for my first few years of reading the FF, this was one of the few Dooms I had access to. So there we go, and then we're out through the letters page and the back of the book. I love these books. I think this was Lee and Kirby doing storytelling at their absolute best. These are 4 of the absolute stars of my collection. I enjoyed rereading them in preparation for this video. I reread my FFs all the time. I think the Lee Kirby FFs are some of the best comic books ever published. So there you have it. Fantastic Four 84, 85, 86, and 87 versus Dr. Doom, one of my favorite Dr. Doom encounters. If you liked it, please let me know. If there's another Dr. Doom encounter you think is good or better, I'd love to hear your opinion. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time on page 121.